So yeah, let's jump right into that segment then and get off the apricot scrub. We'll talk about Kevin Owens. And talking about Kevin Owens here, we'll discuss his current and past feuds on both NXT and WWE. Guys, Kevin Owens, what do you think?
Man is a beast.
He's a monster.
Yes.
Yeah. He's awesome.
There's a bad guy. I mean, that's just, there's no love to hate him. That's just love to hate him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you put some more muscle on, I think you can kind of put him with Brock Lesnar, somebody that we'll be able to see on a weekly basis more than what we're seeing with Lesnar now.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'll agree.
Now, Frank, was this the first time you saw him? Did you see him? You haven't seen him on NXT before.
I never saw him on NXT, but I had seen the, a couple of Mondays before when he did come out with Cena and threw that bomb on Cena, and I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. Mm-hmm. And so, no, but yeah, and you know, I have been catching Monday and Thursday nights here and there over the last couple of weeks. It's just been rough with what I've my job lately. Believe it or not, we have to make money.
Yeah.
But what I have seen is that man is just a monster.
Right, he was only in NXT for like 5 months. He wasn't down there very long.
No,
didn't take him very long to come up to the main roster.
But then, from what I was hearing, he's been in the business for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
For years.
14 years. That's what he says.
Yeah. I mean, I left some homework for you guys, and one of those was Kevin Steen, which was his name before he made it to NXT WWE versus Super Dragon, and that was in 2005. That was PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and yeah, he's been around, you know. And even coming into NXT, he wasn't there long, but talk about making a splash. I mean, coming out, winning his first match against CJ Parker, getting his nose broken live, and still wrestling without an issue. And then, you know, throwing Sami Zayn around at the end of that NXT live special. It really said, okay, this guy is something special, but is WWE going to take the ball and run with this? Are they going to keep him on NXT for a long time? And had you told me that he was going to become the NXT champion within a month of that, or maybe 2 months with that,
2 months,
and then he's going to pop up and beat John Cena clean on a pay-per-view, just amazing. I mean, this guy, Kevin Owens, needed to be in WWE 5 years ago.
Oh, totally.
Yes. Yeah.
It's people like everyone we've been seeing do these United States challenges. These are the guys that should have been lined up for John Cena 5 years ago. If they would have been, I think the whole fan perspective on John Cena as a whole 5 years ago, when people started turning sour on him. I mean, it was probably longer than that when they turned sour on him, but had he have had those caliber of matches with those quality of people, I think people would see John Cena in a very different light. And I think a lot of people do see him in a different light now. It's just a shame that it took 5 years of just the same old stuff before we could get to this point. I mean, both of these superstars just gel so well. I mean, I thought Cena, Sami Zayn was amazing. Thought, you know, but man, this match was the match of the night on the Elimination Chamber card, easily.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt, for sure.
And man, just what an amazing amount of different moves this guy can hit for a big guy. I mean, let's not dance around the 800-pound gorilla here. This is not your typical build for a wrestling guy. I would kind of put him in the middle of, you got your generic, you know, Seth Rollins, which isn't generic. I mean, the guy is ripped. Yeah. And then you got Dusty Rhodes, which is just he was a big boy. He was a very big boy.
He can move.
You kind of put him in the middle of that, with that kind of body type. And I think it's really nice that WWE is acknowledging the fact that someone with a bigger body type that doesn't have to have, you know, abs ripped out the wazoo can straight out come and take your veteran that's been working in your business for 15 years and kick his ass.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, my question on this, because like I said, I didn't get to catch it, but He beat Cena, but this was not a championship match.
No, this is an exhibition.
Yeah,
match.
it was
an exhibition match?
Champion versus champion,
Champion,
but
yeah.
the title was
The title was
weren't
not on the line. Okay,
He pinned
all
him
right.
clean. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, I popped. I was
Yeah.
down here by myself, and I was like, "Woo-hoo-hoo, you gotta be kidding me!" It was crazy. I mean, watching that match, I expected him to pull off some great moves and for Cena to get the win at the end, but no, clean, beat him clean.
Yeah, I saw some crazy list. It was like over the last 10 years, there's only been like 8 or 9 wrestlers that have beat John Cena clean in like the last 10 years without interference. So it was like, I think it's like Orton, Lesnar, Triple H, like Shawn Michaels. It was all like the
creme de la
creme
creme.
of the creme. I mean, now he's on that list. Like he beat him clean, no interference. So they're pushing him pretty hard. So it's
Which is
interesting.
smart.
Oh yeah.
I think what they've kind of messed that up, as you've always mentioned in every podcast,
The
Ascension.
Ascension, I was just gonna say it.
You know,
Yeah.
what?
With starting from NXT and
No,
then
with-
with
that stupid
the
triangle.
yeah, the
triangles.
triangles on their head. Yeah,
They
yeah.
just screwed that up, and they're doing everything right with him right now.
yeah.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we going through that match with the Super Dragon was phenomenal. I mean, the first 8 minutes was outside the ring. I mean, the quality of the video was kept skipping, but the first 8 minutes were on outside the ring. The man just basically doesn't give a shit, and halfway he was basically saying, "Shut the
Right,
up."
right.
Had his head on the chair, and he got hit. It was just, and then they brought out the barbed wire.
Yep.
And they brought out tacks, which you haven't seen that.
And
In years.
Since probably Foley was
easily,
Yeah.
last
Wrestling?
time easily.
Fully an edge.
Yep.
But it was a half-hour match.
Yeah.
You don't see half-hour matches anymore.
No.
No.
Not unless it's you got your 6-man tag team or.
Look, that didn't even go. That only went like 20 minutes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 minutes is your new half-hour match
Yeah.
these days, I would say, definitely. And when we were putting this podcast together for this episode, I kind of went through because I am really familiar with Kevin Owens as Kevin Steen in his career beforehand. So we'll go ahead and share these links like we have them listed out in our segment list here, just so you can check these matches out if you're not familiar with Kevin Owens' work before he started wrestling with NXT. And those 3 matches are Kevin Steen versus El Generico, which El Generico is Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, right,
Yep.
right.
Phenomenal ladder match. I think, Chris, you were mentioning that yesterday after we were done with our power circuit that you thought that match was tremendous.
Yes, I mean it was absolutely. I mean the ladders. He had ladders on top of ladders, and they suplexed, and
It's
I don't know how they were getting up. It was just like Dean in the
Oh, yeah.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think how he was standing up.
How did he get up after?
Right. It was the same thing with these two guys.
Because that spot happened early in that match too.
Yes.
That was like right at the beginning of the match. He got put through the ladder. So
We also got Kevin Steen versus Shinsuke Nakamura. If you guys have heard me talk in the past about New Japan Pro Wrestling, Nakamura is kind of the top cream of the crop guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and these guys have had matches when they kind of combine Ring of Honor and New Japan Wrestling for local shows. Great match. Unfortunately, this particular link that I had and had the guys watch, it was more of a highlights, and it wasn't very well put together. The full match exists out there somewhere. I've seen it before online. I'll try to hunt it down. Maybe you can check it out yourself. But this is just another hard-hitting match. Not so much ladders, just pure technical wrestling from both of these guys.
a lot of psychological elements to that match. It was good.
And then Chris mentioned it just a little earlier. This is Kevin Steen versus Super Dragon. This is very early in his career. This is 2005. This is PWG. And again, just an amazing match. You just got to get through because it is indie quality filming. No good lighting, that kind of stuff, unfortunately.
Kind of like people watching us here, right?
No, actually, it's better lighting than the match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Post-production, folks.
Okay. All
And
right.
it's probably better than Ring of Honor. But where do you guys see Kevin Owens in the future WWE? I mean, he's already smashing the pavement pretty hard, taking out John Cena. Put him 2-3 years down the line. Where would you like to see this guy? Let's start with we'll start with Chris.
Oh, he's going to be fighting for the heavyweight championship. I think it'll be sooner than that. I think they're going to ride while he's hot right now and just go and see how far they can take this. See what feud. I mean, the Cena feud, they might have for another couple weeks, I bet you, but they're going to probably start feuding with somebody else. That would be right. Him versus Reigns.
That'd be good.
That'd be a good match. That'd be a good match, yeah.
Do you guys get the feeling that this is kind of going to be like a Brock Lesnar push? Like, you guys remember when Brock Lesnar first came in? He came with Heyman. He was power bombing the crap out of people, and then he won. Was it King of the Ring?
Won at SummerSlam versus The Rock.
Yeah, and then he ended up getting the championship. Like, to me, that's how this feels. Just like this really straight run through where the crowd's with him and everything, and he's gonna get the belt from somebody. I just wonder who that somebody is. You know, some people are saying Brock, and I think him versus Brock would be a tremendous match. But I don't see Brock in the title picture again in the next year or so. I really don't.
Yeah, and my opinion, I think he's going to go far, just because the WWE finally has like a legitimate badass that's going to come in and kick your ass and leave you laying there, no questions asked. Any babyface, he could go up against Orton. He could go up against pretty much anybody. I agree with you. I think he'll be either fighting for the championship or he'll be the champion, and I think it'll happen sooner rather than later.
As long as we don't run into what we've seen in the past, which is Reigns. You know, talk about those three guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they came in. We pushed that agenda for way too long, and then we split them up and pushed all three of those agendas for way too long, and we still haven't really got a clear-cut answer except for the fact that one of them's champion, but he's paper champion in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's hope they do it right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because, I mean, they had the perfect opportunity to do that with what they had, and they dropped the ball. I mean, at this point, you know, who cares who our champion is? And I'm sorry to say that, but I mean, it really is. Who cares who our championship is? And who cares about I love the psychedelic fringe or psychotic fringe, whatever you want to call them. You know, but I mean, they took this, it took too long.
Yeah,
I think they peaked it, and now they're still trying to keep it peaked, but the fans ain't going anymore, and let's hope they don't do that with him.
The one nice advantage, I think, if you take the Shield and you break the Shield apart and you take Roman Reigns, who was supposed to be the guy, they were going to give him the championship run. When the Shield broke up, they exposed the limitations that Roman Reigns had as a wrestler. In this particular case with Kevin Owens, he's not in a faction, he's not in a group, he's performing there very well from the get-go, so you don't have to worry about, oh, okay, well, this guy sucks on microphone. No, he doesn't. No. This guy sucks in wrestling. No, he doesn't. This guy is a terrible heel. He's a phenomenal heel.
Phenomenal heel, yeah.
So I think it's a little bit more of an organic grow with him, and it won't be shoved down the throats as much as Roman Reigns were, even though, you know, Roman Reigns wasn't shoved down our throats like other wrestlers as much, but still, I think this would be a lot more organic. So I think if they push him to that title picture, you're not going to have the crowd go to shit on him. Like,
no, and I hope so. I mean, I hope so. It's just they can draw it out too long to the point where people start not caring. I mean, if you had Roman Reigns going after that title a year ago, everybody would have been on board. But 6 months ago, people were like, shouldn't he have already gotten it by now?
Yeah. Now, if you want to throw in a possible roadblock for Kevin Owens as far as having a similar superstar in the WWE, that would be Samoa Joe. Is there room, I should say, for a wrestler like Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens who have a similar body type, a similar work rate, similar move set? Is there enough room in WWE to get along with both of them in there?
Yeah, I think so. I think the roster's weak. It's so weak right now that I think there's plenty of room for Samoa Joe. And you could work him as a face versus Kevin Owens as a heel, and it would be a phenomenal match. Wrestling, promos, plenty of room in my opinion. I don't know
if you want to do that right away. I mean, I think you're gonna have Samoa and Owens fight. He'll lose the belt. Samoa will basically down there. It'll be the new NXT champion, and Owens comes up to the main roster, and where it goes from there, maybe it goes with the U.S. title.
So basically you have Samoa Joe run Owens out of NXT.
Right.
Makes sense.
And that's where you push him up into the WWE then.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And then when Samoa Joe's ready to come up, then the feud is already there. It's set. When he comes in, yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. We could also bring back the Funkadactyl, though. Same body type, man.
If that happens, somebody better call your booker.
Yeah, I do hope they do that, though. Like you said, keep him down there. But I don't know if the roster's strong enough to keep Samoa Joe down in NXT for 5 months, like how they did with Kevin Owens. I think it's going to be down there. I don't think he's going to be down there very long.
Me either.
Samoa Joe.
I know he's got some indie bookings to stay committed to and take care of, so I think that'll be kind of the stopgap from shooting him over to the main roster for now. But I mean, NXT, they shoot 4 or 5 episodes in a week, so it'll be curious to see. Obviously, this is Kevin Owens' superstar spotlight, and I think everyone here agrees that it's going to be huge. It'll just be interesting how Samoa Joe could possibly help or hinder that. Anything else about Kevin Owens before we move on to our next segment?
I mean, overall, from what I've seen so far, I like the way he wrestles. But man, that's just you hated Brock Lesnar, but you really hate this guy. And I mean, heel extreme. And I think that's what I like the most about him. He's a heel extreme.
Right. You don't beat Cena clean in your first ever WWE match unless you're going to be big time, in my opinion.
You know, it's funny. You think about the Rusev feud and what that meant for...
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say something?
Really?
I'm sorry.
This is a good podcast. He didn't mention his name.
We were flowing really good.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we know we had that match for the United States title as him and Cena were trading it, and Rusev never really had that moment where he felt... I know he's supposed to be anti-American against the whole U.S. thing, but you never really saw him push that anymore.
Yeah.
In one not even match, one promo segment, Kevin Owens did more for that feud than Rusev did when he stomped on the United States title. I mean, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm surprised no one complained about that because that's pretty close to stomping on the flag.
Yes.
Yeah. It's real close.
That's super disrespectful.
Well, it's a belt. I mean, I can see your point, Mike, that it would be disrespectful, but again, it's just
It's
the
the
belt.
belt. It's the belt.
Yep.
Yeah.